Alright guys, welcome back to another Water Change Wednesday. This time we're doing something a little bit different. My plans changed. Tonight Kelly was supposed to join me again, but he got tied up with stuff, so I'm going to do some cacti and succulent kind of rejuvenation, because I got a bunch of cacti in this pot here, which is actually too big for them. I'm going to put them in these smaller pots I have here that I took from outside. And then I also have this pot over here, which I did a bunch of succulents in, but they're not doing what I'd like them to do, so I'm going to actually leave the aloe in this pot by itself and repot the rest. But also I wanted to touch on our Plantmas sale that we're having, and also open up this guy right here, because this is from a viewer. So first off, Plantmas sale, in case you're not familiar with it, basically every day there's a new plan available on the website from anywhere between $1 and $3, as well as there's 25% off everything else except for signature escapes. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, you can head on over to our website, h2oplants.com, check it out, score some sweet deals. You gotta be checking it daily because there is new deals every day. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, what's up, Chris's Fish Room, Moses, Chronicle. So this came from Gary. Gary also sent something else, but I don't want to open it just yet. And he sent this on over. I already kind of knew what it is because he sent me a picture of it, but I thought it was really cool. And this is really awesome. Oh, he even put like a little backing on there to be attached. But it is our logo, and that is super cool. I love it. Thank you very much, Gary. Looks great. And I'm going to hang it up somewhere. I just don't know where yet. But it will go somewhere in the fish room, so thank you very much for that. What's up, Tammy? What's up, Lord Vader? So that is that. Now, I gotta try and rescue some of these succulents, because some of them are not looking good, some cactus are not looking good. I gotta fix this, essentially. So first things first, this is my aloe plant and attempt at like a little mini terrarium type thing. This aloe plant was actually my dad's. He passed away I think 2 years ago it's been, and this aloe plant was his. He's had it for about 10 years. So I've been trying to keep it alive. The aloe plant's doing fine. It's actually rebounding very, very good. But I'm gonna actually take it out, take out the rest of these, repot it in here, and then take out all these small succulents and place them in these other pots here that I have, just because it's going to be better. And Ashley said she got her plants. You're welcome. So what I'm going to try and do is be as careful as possible with uprooting these. There is one that I already see that's definitely going to be death. I have to toss it because it's, what happened is if you're not familiar with succulents, one, they're actually really hard to kill, so I'm surprised that I killed this one. But I know what I did wrong is actually when I planted it, there's a few specks of dirt which I kind of just left that were on the crown. So I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it all too well, but there's a crown there where all the leaves come out of. I left a few specks of dirt there, and that unfortunately drove it to rot, and so the whole plant rotted. What I did do though, the other day I saw this getting to this point, and I'm like, you know what, let me at least try and propagate it if I can. So what I did is I actually removed some of the leaves to propagate out, and actually succulents are very nice because you can propagate them out from just a single leaf, which is awesome. So I know this isn't aquatic, but this is like another hidden gem that I like to do. So I'm going to actually be putting them in this pot here. It's a stainless steel pot. This isn't ideal because you want drainage, but I like the way the pot is. And what I had in here originally was herbs. This was actually sitting outside. Everything's dead now. I'm just going to dump the soil real quick because I don't want to use soil that's been sitting outside for this, just in case there's any critters or anything like that in here. Come on. Okay, there we go. Alright. Let's see, somebody's texting me. Alright. Working on getting my shipment. Hey, popping in to say thumbs up, then gone. Later, Mary Beth. What's up? Finally got a notification? Nice. YouTube's actually doing its job. Alright, so I do need a little bin here. So, sorry, business. Alright, now the trick is to try and get these things out of here. What I did do though is I let the soil dry out before I'm doing this. That's ideal when transplanting succulents, is let the soil be completely dry and also the soil that they're going into be completely dry. And it just allows them, one, to come out better, and also prevents root rot, because actually the roots, if a leaf fell off, it's alright, probably get this guy later. The leaves are significantly easy to propagate on these things. I already have a couple of the leaves from that plant that I had to toss already growing new baby sprouts, so it's awesome. So I'm not sure exactly what each one of these species are, but they're all very nice. I like them. Succulents are like a hidden passion of mine. So I wanted to do this on stream because I haven't had much time to do it, and I see their health declining, so I really wanted to get on it before I lost any more. Just because the setup that they're in. Breaking a couple leaves off of this guy. I wanted to try and avoid that, but it's okay. Just put these guys to the side for right now. Alright. That guy there, and I'm going to scoop. This is actually a cactus, it's not a succulent, or at least I don't think it's a succulent because it has spines, or what are they called? The pointy things. Spikes? Needles? Looks like you need more water in those. Well, I haven't actually watered in over a week, and that's because I really wanted to make sure the soil was dry before I did this. I didn't know when I was going to do it, so I didn't want to water. I was actually going to water it over the weekend, but I knew that I would wind up doing this sometime this week, and I knew if I watered it over the weekend, it wouldn't be completely dry, so I wanted to avoid that. So now I need to try and get this aloe plant out without really breaking the root. Oh, there's another leaf to that plant. Ooh, this guy's rooted in there good. Well, that's a good thing, though. The aloe plant's being really healthy, though. Some nice roots. And it's actually still not completely all the way dry at the bottom here. There's still some moisture. What do I want to do here? Okay, before I go any further, because I need to actually use some of the soil in this for these other pots, I'm actually just going to rest this guy over here for right now. So, let's see. Hold on one second. I can't see all the chat. The screen's in the way. Let me move this. We have succulents at our place too. My favorite's the bromeliads. I like bromeliads. I have those as well. I have 3 of them. One of which I thought I killed, but actually surprisingly I did not. The other one, there we go. That's better light. It's a little too bright. There we go. The other one that the one that I thought I killed is actually sprouting new babies or new pups, which is awesome. And then I also have some orchids, one of which I thought was going to die because it was infested with mealybugs. If you follow us on Instagram, you would have seen it there. But I thought it was infested by mealybugs. Turns out it wasn't. And, well, it was. I killed them using alcohol and a Q-tip, and I was able to take care of the problem. So, all good things. All right. So, what I'm going to do now is in the bottom of this pot is I'm putting gravel, and that's just because there's no drainage hole here for them. So, ideally, you want a drainage hole for succulents or cactus. If you're not familiar with them, they do like drainage, but because this one doesn't have one, I'm going to make like a false bottom, which is essentially putting gravel in there. And it'll basically create about an inch layer that allow the water to pool into versus keeping all the soil wet, which will in fact cause root rot on succulents, because they like a good watering, but they don't like to be soaking in it all the time. This is just some pea gravel that I picked up from the hardware store. making sure there's an even layer here. Okay. So I'm actually, I wonder if I should use this or use that one. Let me unpot some of these too before I do anything else with this guy. Actually, no. I'm going to take some soil out of here and plant this guy back in here. So this is all cactus soil that's pre-mixed. I just bought it from the garden center. How do you get orchids to grow and not flower? What do you mean, like purposely? Because I actually, my orchids, oop, there's a little millipede in here. In my orchids, the one that had mealybugs, lost both of its blooms. Well, it went through its phases of the blooms dying out. I cut them off like you're supposed to, and then I kept them in the original packaging, which isn't ideal because the original package only had sphagnum moss, and orchids are just like bromeliads. They do best in like a mixture of bark and sphagnum moss, not solely sphagnum moss. And so I actually moved them from the bark mixture into a thing with, or from the sphagnum moss into a bark mixture, and that really really helped it out. And it's already starting to bloom. Literally within 2 weeks of me treating the mealybugs and transferring it into a better soil, I already have a new bud forming to form a new shoot, which typically I think doesn't happen. I think there's a season, and I don't know if they're in season to do it quite yet. So the trick with this aloe plant, because it actually curves, it's tricky to get to stand up the right way because the root's slightly curved, so it's always giving me problems. I actually need to cut these bottom curly leaves off, and that'll allow the plant to sit up better, but then it'll look like a little tiny wimpy aloe plant. Okay, that will do like that for right now. I'm just gonna pack that in there. I gotta put more soil, but I'll do that in a bit. Since I crack open the other thing. Come on. Okay. So then I have these cactus. I actually got these cactus from IKEA of all places, but they were really nice. But what happened is when we had our Thanksgiving party, somebody smacked into this one and broke it right in half, and as you can see, it's not doing too well. I can't tell. I mean, I think it's calloused over, so I think it should be able to sprout new leaves or new roots. But yeah, that one's not doing ideal. Then I got more of them. These are doing okay, but they're not going to go in here. I'm going to put them in their own pot. They're very sharp, the spines on these guys. But I have more succulents that I put in here with them, thinking that this was a good idea. Little did I know it's not such a good idea. So we're going to move these guys for sure. More succulent leaves that I'll put down to try and get them to sprout. And then here's a cactus, which definitely needs some water. I could already tell that it's looking thirsty. Here's a couple more I really like. They're like stem ones. I want bigger orchids, but just the flower and never get bigger. Maybe I need more pruning and bark in there. So you want to, the thing with orchids, at least from my research now, I'm not an avid orchid keeper. I've just started on my journey. But they say fertilizing every other week, I think. It's like a half dose every week if you want to do every other week. It's full dose. So if you do it like that, fertilize, then they'll create blooms for you. Have them in a window. I think the dormancy period is now, like in fall to winter. So you want to put them in a window, not directly in the window, but somewhere where there's a temperature swing every day. So somewhere that'll get really hot during the day and then cooler at night, and then really hot during the day and cooler at night. And that way they can go through their like kind of hibernation period, I guess it is. And then they go through a phase where I think for about 4 months they don't sprout any new blooms, and then after the 4 months, then they're doing blooms all the time. But the trick is you have to cut them back to the 4th node on the stem that the bloom forms on. I think all those things combined together will get you good results. At least, I mean, that's what I've been following to do mine pretty much, and it's been working. And then a lot of people, they put ice cubes in their orchids to water them. Even my sister does that, and that's actually the incorrect thing. That's actually really harmful to them because they're tropical. They like warm water. Putting an ice cube in there, it almost shocks the roots, so it's not ideal to do that. And then, what else? What other tip with orchids? Water very thoroughly, much like cactus. You want to water thoroughly, but let the water completely drain out. So they need to be in a container that has drainage, and also a container that allows airflow, because they're epiphytes, much like bromeliads, where they like to attach to wood and stuff, so they like to have air flowing through their roots, but they don't like to be completely dry. Lord Vader says, I thought it was the second node. I think it's the fourth node from the bottom you want to cut him out. Cut him back to. I've done that so far on mine already, and it's like I said, after I got rid of the mealybugs, it's already sprouted a new bud that's, I guess, about to form into a bloom. I don't know if it's going to do it right away or if it just kind of sets it up for a couple months. Okay, so now that I got all that in there, let me move this stuff so you guys can see what I'm actually doing. Okay. Now, some of these are not looking good. I tell you what, I gotta really nurse these things back to health here. Ooh, okay. Sorry, I'm working on getting our shipment here for this week. Okay. Don't water them too much. Well, yeah, you don't want to water them when you first transplant them. You want to allow them to establish a little bit before you water these guys. But just looking at these, yeah, a lot of the bottom leaves here are dying. These are chicken hens or something like that they're called. They're a weird type of succulent, but I think they're really cool looking. So I'm just gonna... Oh, I broke a petal. No! I think that typically means that they're very dry when they're breaking petals like this. Another one. They definitely need a watering. Oh, broke another one, which they will get here soon. It's just I want to get these guys in their new home first. I have so many petals now, I don't even know what half of these things are going to turn out to be. I don't know if that's high enough. I might need to raise this up a bit. Yeah, I'm going to need a little more soil in here. I really need to repot my orchid, but I'm concerned. Can't see what else he wrote. No, when you repot an orchid, it's really easy. Just take it out, break it up. I trimmed off a lot of the old, like, dried up, rotting roots that there was, because sphagnum moss, well, it's good to have some sphagnum moss in with the bark that you're supposed to plant it in. If it's all sphagnum moss, it just holds in so much moisture in there. That's not good. It causes root rot. So a lot of the roots that I had on mine rotted. So I fixed that by mine actually doesn't even have any sphagnum moss, because I wanted to also, I was treating basically for mealybugs as well, because the mealybugs lay eggs and they can be in the substrate. So I wound up, I wound up changing out the substrate to try and combat the mealybugs and make sure there's no eggs. And so far I haven't seen any signs of the mealybugs since. How long do you put on blue and red lights? On aquariums? Are you asking about aquariums? Because blue and red should come on with your white lights. You shouldn't put them on any other time, really. A lot of people run the blue lights at nighttime, but I don't like to do that. See, there's some dirt trapped in there. That's going to cause it to eventually rot. So an easy trick is to blow on it and get most of it out best you can. I'm actually going to plant these on this side. I saw a trick on a YouTube video when I was researching succulents where they used a straw. I think it might have even been Serpa Design. They used a straw to clean out his terrarium when he was like planting it. He was using a straw to like kind of blow the dirt around. I thought that was a really clever idea. So I've been using that when I plant these things moving forward. Yeah, it's really just orchid bark. If you look at like Home Depot or Lowe's has it, just look for orchid mixture, and that's all you need. All right, so I have these two. Is there anything else I want to put in here? I actually think I want to do this cacti. I'm going to do both cactuses that I have on the opposite sides. So I got 2 succulents and 2 cacti. These things should be able to bounce back relatively easily too. They just need some watering after this. Give it a day and then I'll come in and give them all good watering. Ah, that was a needle. This one hurts. This one definitely hurts. Supposed to use gloves when doing this, but as you can see, I'm not that smart. Alright, I'm gonna plant a little bit. Can you guys see what I'm doing? I know it's not like completely zoomed in. Let me move the camera in a little bit. There you go. What is the hardest plant you found hardest to grow? Have you tried any very soft water plants? Are you talking about aquarium plants? I know we're kind of like on the topic of terrestrial plants and succulents and stuff, so I just want to make sure that I'm answering the question the correct way. I'm going to put a little more soil on this guy right here. This one is done. 2 succulents on each side and a cactus on each side. I think it's very nice. Alright, so this guy is done. Next up, one of these pots. Aquarium plants. So aquarium plants, hardest to grow. Some stem plants, some really difficult stem plants are a pain in the butt to grow. It really depends on the type of stem plant, but occasionally I'll find a plant that just does not do well. Some of these really rare rotalas and whatchamacallits, rotalas and can't even think of the name. And Ludwigias, these really rare ones like Ludwigia white and Rotala sunset and stuff like that. Yeah, it's difficult. Will you put small pebbles, gravel over the top layer of soil? So in that one I can. I want to actually wait to see how much I have left because the drainage is the most important thing. I also have this little bag right here of like pink and topaz color and white and gray colored rocks. to put over it. I was also thinking about doing some sand as well. Nope, this ain't working. Okay, hold on. I'm going to need to do a little hack here, because that hole is too big and the gravel is too small. Piece of lava rock. That should stay. So even though this has a drainage hole, I'm still putting this just so that way the water will drain quickly. Can you use pea gravel in an aquarium? I don't know if this is safe. I've never tried it. If it has no additives, it might be safe, but I haven't done my research to find out. I just so happen to have one. Let's see. Okay, so we got that. We'll take more of this soil. Let me move this out of the way here. Need, here we go. Much easier. Use this little scooper that I got here. So I'm gonna leave it a little bit low because this one I'd like to actually add stones to if we can manage it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna try and fit all these different succulents in this pot while giving them enough room. I just love these like woodsy stem ones. I have no idea what any of the names are on these, but I just love all these succulents. They're so beautiful. This one's really dry though. Just gonna push that down there. Some more here. This guy's definitely looking a little dry. But succulents, that's the thing, like they're very, very hardy for the most part. Like, oh, and you can see here actually, if you've never known about succulents, yeah, the dogs are going at it. You can see here on this plant that the stem here is now getting really long and green. That means it wasn't getting enough light where it was. So I'm actually going to probably put these guys in a different window than where they were at, just because they should actually be a lot shorter and be more purple. But because they're not, that's a sign that they're not getting enough sunlight where they were. So here's some other guys here. These guys don't want to stay up on their own. They like leaning over, but I'm sure that's not good. Alright, this is more of this guy over here, which I don't know if these are going to be alright because this bottom part is completely dead there. That's a dead leaf. This is actually a good leaf. I could propagate that out later. This is a beautiful thing about them. Yeah, the doggies do love their squeaker toys. I'm just going to plant these two little guys right next to the bigger plants here. One leaf fell off. And now I only have one leaf left on this guy. Let's see, hopefully they'll do okay. Even if they fall off the stem, they should still, they'll still sprout roots and whatnot through natural propagation, most likely. Assuming I keep it wet enough for them. Now see, this is actually how I got this one. I was missing all of the bottom leaves and only had 2 top leaves. So, I'm just going to place this guy here. This guy over here. I think this might be a similar species, these two. So we're just going to group them together there. got this purple guy here, which I'm going to put in the middle, just because I think it'll be really nice once it actually fills in. But succulents remind me so. I mean, a lot of plants are very similar to aquarium plants, in the sense that even if like you break them, they can still come back. Oh, this guy's leaf completely gone. Take that off. Okay. Then I got 2 plants left. I have this little baby aloe plant. It's not the same type of aloe, but it's a miniature version. I'm just gonna put this somewhere. Is good for me. And this guy, I don't know how well this guy's gonna do. His leaves are not looking too good. They're all like flopping over. I'm just gonna put him right here. I might actually move these over, put him here, put these guys back in here. Try not to break any more leaves off of him. One more. Okay. Alright. Put another petal here. I think that's about it. I'm not going to use the gravel just yet. I want to make sure I have enough for this other one here, but yeah. Hey Justin, hey Justin, subs Shrimpery on Instagram. Do you plan on any collaborations? Well, he's sending me some plants, so. What about carnivorous plants, like bog plants? I haven't, I tried them. They didn't do well for me down in the basement here. I don't know if it's lack of light, not enough humidity or what, but they did not do good. Alright, so I got the last pot here. So this one's done. I'm going to move this guy out of the way, but you can see here. Okay, and the last guy. Ooh, got a piece of dirt in my eye. Not a good thing. I'm just going to grab another piece of lava rock. Just to plug up this hole here. This is for the cacti that I have, the tall cacti. They weren't doing well in this, or at least I don't think they're going to do well in this really deep pot that I have over here, just because I can't bring the soil all the way up to the top. The plastic liner doesn't go that way. So the plastic liner that's in here is more for like a tall house plant, ideally. So I'm going to replant one of the other plants that we have in there. Oh, I'm hitting the bottom, so we're running out of soil. Alright, I think this will be almost enough. And I have a little more left over in the baggie, so should be okay. Alright. Okay. So now I'm going to try and get these guys plotted here. So what I want to do is take some soil out. These guys' spikes are almost as bad as that other one. They're very, very sharp. Not to be taken lightly. You could see so much so that they were gouging each other in the pot. They're all torn up. In the original pot that they were in. I don't know if it was because they were being moved around a lot, or people were just mishandling them, or what. But hopefully I spaced them out enough here that they don't have that problem. These guys' roots are very, very watering. This might be a little too close, but hopefully it'll be okay. I want to try and space them out a little bit so that doesn't happen to keep happening to them. But what's nice about them, even though that it broke off, cactus replant just like stem plants do in the aquarium, where if you break off a tip, usually it'll regrow new side shoots, and you can replant the top. Although I don't know what's going on here with the top. I don't know if it's just lack of water. It's starting to look a little dried out, and this piece is bending more than it should. So I don't know if it just doesn't have enough moisture, or if because originally when this broke off I didn't take it out of the soil. I kind of just left it there, and I don't know if this calloused over properly. It's all calloused over now, but it feels, I don't know, it feels a little dry to me as opposed to the other ones. So I'm going to try and place this somewhere here, because eventually it'll form roots. I just don't know if it's going to have enough moisture to do so. So we're just going to push it down into the soil there. And I think that'll be... Oh, shush. I think that'll be good here. So now I'm just going to push the soil around it just to try and get them to stay in place, because they're very top heavy, and being that they haven't rooted yet, they're gonna want to move around a lot. So it's something that I want to try and avoid if possible. Yeah, you see they shifted a little bit there. I gotta bring these guys back upstairs, so just gonna pile on the soil around them here. Ah, son of a... That hurt. That hurt. I pushed down right on one of the freaking spines. Hey, shush. Alright, and I think... Hey! Just barking at the other one because he doesn't want to play with her or give her the toy. No, that's a toy bone that they have, for those that are asking. That's a toy bone. Ah. I stabbed myself again. That's why they recommend using gloves, but me, I'm just like, eh. Yeah, somebody says I may have to use supports. Might have to as well. I might agree with that. I'm trying to see if I have anything. I mean, I have chopsticks that I could probably put in here. I think they'll be fine. They were sitting upright. Only this one that doesn't have roots yet was doing this, but you could already see it has new buds forming on this one right here. They're so tiny and green, and another one there. So I think these cactus in time are going to do very well. I just have to keep them watered, or more water than what I was giving them the last 2 weeks. So it's not an antler. It's one of those ones that are from like one of the chain stores that are filled with like a peanut butter filling. As soon as you water, they will fall over. Been there. Yeah, it's possible. I'm thinking I might put some of the pea gravel around this one just to keep them down in there better. You have to see that one. This one's going to give me some trouble just because it doesn't have any roots whatsoever. I may have to bury it actually deeper, which let's see if that'll work. Yeah. It's doing it. It's working a little bit. Alright, let's finish out this aloe plant here. And yeah, this is very, very messy. That's why I'm doing it downstairs. Those look succulent. Like what you did there. Alright, so I want to try and position this so even though the root is curved here, which is anybody familiar with aloe plants? Because from what I've read, and actually kind of what I'm coming to the conclusion of is, if this is anything like those other plants, I could essentially cut the root here, shave off these leaves, and it'll sprout new roots down here. But I don't know if that's true. I know if you like peel off this outer layer of thing, it'll reveal a node, and the node will form new roots. So I don't know if anybody has that. Like this is all like rotted outer flesh of the aloe, so I can peel this all away and be fine. And that, like this little hump right here, this is where I've heard roots will form out of. So like essentially I could. Yes, that aloe plant is not getting enough light. Well, are you saying that because of these bottom leaves? Because these bottom leaves, this was in. So this is new growth right here that's been in a really sunny window, and those are sticking straight up. But these bottom leaves here, these were in windows that did not have enough light. That much I know. So I was thinking about trimming off. I do believe that is true, but I would not do it. Yeah, I don't want to do it because, like I said, this was my dad's aloe plant, so I don't want to kill it. It's like kind of the last thing. It's the only thing that oh, there's 2 millipedes in here. Ew. Oh, there's a couple more. Ew, gross. Definitely don't want to kill it because it's like the last. This was like the only thing I wanted from him. No, all the leaves are not bad enough. Yeah? I mean, but don't they only get fat? Hey, shut up! Don't they only get fat if they're outdoors? Let's see. I feel like that's almost centered. Let me bring it over a little more. Well, you could go up the stalk a little bit. No? I've had it buried before, like this. So it keeps letting it put more soil. New roots grow, then you repot. Hold on. Yeah, I really like the pot. I would bury the stalk. Well, if you want to replicate what they will be getting outdoors. Oh. If new roots grow when you repot, you can cut the old root system, then... Wait. Oh. You can't cut the leaf, but they will be sunscreen, a substance which can be bottled. If you bury it too much, the stalk will develop stalk root. Or stalk rot. Okay. Yeah, I know these act as a natural sunblock. My whole childhood involved around whenever I get sunburns or mosquito bites or anything else. Just so you guys know, this is an indoor plant. This doesn't stay outdoors because we live in New York or New Jersey and just wouldn't work out well, obviously. But my dad all throughout my childhood, whenever I get like a cut or a burn or a mosquito bite, here, put aloe on it. I'm like, no. I used to hate it, but now I do it to Hector. Hector will get like a mosquito bite or something, or he'll have sunburn. Like, he loves it. He wasn't like me. I was an absolute pain in the butt to my dad. I was like, no, don't put it on me. Like, I don't want it. I acted like it burned. It's looking much better. You don't put it outdoors in the summer. I mean, aloes do well outdoors. It's just like it's too cold now, you know, to put it out there, and I don't want to run the risk of something happening to it. I feel like it'll grow just fine indoors, because my dad had it indoors. My dad never put it outside because he lived in an apartment. It always used to just sit in the window. So like, this thing has been alive, I think, 10 plus years if it's the same plant he had when I was a kid. 10 plus years, so it's been around for a while. It was the only thing my dad was able to keep alive. Let's see, what are we on? Oh, we got about 13 minutes left. Hey, doggy, stop it. Store to get that bag of gravel. She's like, you're not even going to use all of that gravel. She's like, you're doing 2 pots. Why are you going to get such a big bag of gravel? Yep. Done. I like that one. So now I have a little gravel left. We can do the other ones. I'm going to move this guy out of the way. I'll put him over here, actually. All right. Has the aloe ever bloomed? It hasn't. I've only had it for the last 2 years. Yeah, it looks much better now. Let's see. So I have probably enough to do 2 of the pots with the pea gravel, and then I'll use this gravel for the last one. But let me just gonna clean up. I'm gonna need something else to do this. Sorry, tomorrow's cleanup day anyway, so we clean the fish room. And by we, I already know Jake, if he's in here, he's going to say, by we, you mean me, I clean the fish room. Alright, so should I do this one? What do you guys think? The pea gravel on this one? Oh, okay. It's between these two. I don't think the other small gravel will look nice in the other pot. stem stalk up from the center. Beautiful hummingbirds. Oh, that's awesome. Bad things about succulents is they break so easily. That they do. Let's see, I'm gonna put the pea gravel in this one, I think. Yeah, let's do the pea gravel in here. I'm not going to completely cover it, I'm actually just going to scatter it. Just a little bit. Oh. Broke a piece of the cactus off. Or did I? Yep, no, I did. Or maybe I didn't. I can't tell. So that one is good. Should I do a mixture? I wonder what a mixture would look like. Be careful. Yeah, you gotta be careful not to hurt him. What up, Dank Tank? How's it going? Sorry we're not live streaming on Instagram. It's just my phone's almost dead, and I need to communicate with my plant supplier. Did I just break that? I did just break that. Damn it. Dang it, where's my tweezers? There's a pebble in this one. I can get that out. I like that. I don't want to cover it all. What sucks? Fish tanks and fishing? What do you feed your assassin snails in the breeder tank? Saw it in Michael's tour of your fish room. What I've been, wait, Green Thumb Aquariums. Is that, are you guys the, are you what's her face on Instagram? Green Thumb Aquascape or whatever? Or is that somebody different? But what we're feeding the assassin snails right now is pretty much whenever I feed the fish room, I'm feeding essentially the same thing. I'm also throwing in some pond snails as I find them. But basically I'm just feeding them everything that I would feed them on the fish room. They will eat other stuff. I've seen them eat algae wafers. So, any floating plants on the special list? What do you mean on the special list? On the you mean on the Plantmas sale list? Pretty much the Plantmas sale is everything that I have a ton of. Oh, this one's leaving. And I just ordered a ton more. I just updated inventory earlier today, so there's a bunch more plants in stock. So feel free to ow to go crazy. Ow. 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 Okay. Nope. I'm gonna go deeper. Ah, son of a... These things suck. I need to get gloves. Get it? Succulents, they suck. That's so funny. I'm definitely gonna get an affected finger. Alright, let's do... Ow. Okay, I'm going to put this. Okay. I haven't. Oh. Pretty much all my floating plants are listed. Everything that I have. I actually ran my Savinia Colada I lost, so I have more coming in tomorrow. Hopefully these guys will do alright. I think that's really about it. All of them are planted. They'll look pretty good. I wonder if I sprinkle some of this stuff in there too. Or is it going to look too, it adds some texture to it. Let's do a little sprinkle. Just sprinkle it in. Yeah, this guy's actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new sprouts at the top. This guy's got 1. This guy doesn't have any yet. That's not going to be ideal with it leaning into that one, so hopefully it does alright. If this one doesn't, if this like doesn't perk up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that one off and plant that separately also. I once stepped on my cactus while diving into his pole. I got jabbed 2 inches up my foot. Ugh! I had to report my cactus, and I didn't have any. Oh, I had to repot my cactus and didn't have any gloves and covered in needles, so I used my tongs to grab it. Yeah, that's not a bad idea either. Yeah, well, see, this had gotten broken during Thanksgiving, so I was a little upset that it got broken. But I mean, as long as it doesn't kill it, I'm fine with that. I then looked up like what to do if your cactus breaks, and it turns out it's actually not that bad. So, I think that's about it though. We're pretty much all wrapped up for today. We've been streaming for about an hour now. So, once again, guys, don't miss the Plantmas sale if you're just joining us and you didn't see the beginning of the video. Make sure you check out the Plantmas sale on the website. Awesome deals up until the 25th. New plants or inventory is updated tonight, but also tomorrow we're going to have a bunch of new plants coming in, so those will also be up on the website. And so yeah, so there's going to be a bunch of new things to look forward to. So guys, thank you so much for checking out the live stream. Add a little more gravel to this one. Ow. Okay. Oh, that one drew blood. Alright guys, under highlighting, which grows faster? Dwarf hairgrass, most likely. Alright guys, I will see you on the next one. Stay tuned for, what is it, Sunday's video. Later.